this mandate and this majority, we will at last be able to do what?
Get Brexit done!
You've been paying attention. Because this election means that getting Brexit done is now the irrefutable, irresistible, unarguable decision of the British people. And with this election, I think we've put an end to all those miserable threats of a second referendum.
So said Boris Johnson in his victory speech given a day after the Conservative Party got the majority in the UK election. Hello, and welcome to this week's exciting Bible in the News. This week we witness a further step towards the Tarshish power separating itself from the powers of Gomer and Magog, as we would expect from Bible prophecy. The victorious Boris has said, quote, "We will get Brexit done on time by the 31st of January. No ifs, no buts, no maybe." End quote. The Prime Minister has now met the Queen to form a new government. He has a huge majority of 80 seats in the House of Commons. This is the largest Conservative majority since 1987 and the era of Margret Thatcher. This is highly significant from a Bible prophecy perspective. In the great latter-day prophecy of Ezekiel 38, the power of Tarshish is separate from the European powers of Gomer and Magog. We believe that modern Britain is the only fit for the biblical and historical clues given as to the identity of Tarshish. One such clue is the fact that Tarshish is said to have accessed silver, iron, tin and lead in Ezekiel 27 verse 12. It seems this was accessed natively at the time of Ezekiel around 600 BC. These are rare metals, especially tin, and it is very clear that the ancient world obtained its tin from the tin mines in Cornwall in Britain. Therefore, this clue gives us a powerful reason to believe that Britain is the Tarshish of the Bible. For more evidence and in-depth analysis of this, see the talk on the website Bible in the News given this year on the topic entitled Brexit and the Bible. Also in Ezekiel 38, we have an interesting detail. Tarshish is alluded to as being a mother lion with young lions in verse 13 connected with it. As Tarshish is a political power, it would seem these young lions refer to independent political offspring who, like young lions, have grown independent of their mother at the time of the prophecy. It was interesting, though, in connection to Tarshish being a mother lion, to see the Daily Express's headline on the day after the election. The title reads, "The British Lion Roars for Boris and Brexit." We therefore see the nations aligning as we would expect in accordance with Bible prophecy. These are sure signs of the times that the other events foretold in the biblical time period of the latter days will soon unfold, namely, a coming war between the nations and Israel, which will see the return of the Lord Jesus Christ to the earth, who will establish God's kingdom. Another fascinating thing to consider in relation to the election was the fall of the Labour Party, who suffered unprecedented losses. Their leader, Jeremy Corbyn, has now stepped down. Of interest was that running up to the election, anti-Semitism in the party was reported to be rife, and this is still being investigated. The Jewish columnist Melanie Phillips wrote an article on the 13th of December entitled, quote, "The British Working Class Saves Britain and its Jews," end quote. In it, she gives this interesting perspective, quote, "The relief was overwhelming when the exit poll on Thursday evening correctly predicted a large majority for Boris Johnson's Conservative Party. British Jews allowed themselves to breathe again. Overcome by the sense of deliverance from a great evil, some wept. Labour is led by the most far-left leadership in its history, supporting terrorists abroad and incubating virulent anti-Semitism at home. If elected, it would have wrecked Britain's economy, attacked the state of Israel, and posed a mortal threat to the security of Britain, its Jewish community, and the West. Astoundingly, economically shattered communities with very high levels of poverty and unemployment, even former mining towns whose inhabitants had voted Labour virtually from the time the party was invented, all voted on Thursday for an Eton-educated, plummy-voiced toff in preference to the leader of the Labour Party. Why? Because the British working class is deeply, passionately patriotic and attached to democracy. They are the very best of Britain. Time and again, they have saved the country in its wars against tyranny by putting their lives on the line to defend what it stands for, their historic culture, institutions, and values." End quote. This reminds us of the Abrahamic covenant where God states, "And I will make of thee a great nation, and I will bless thee, and make thy name great, and thou shalt be a blessing, and I will bless them that bless thee, and curse him that curseth thee." Genesis 12, verse 2-3. It also reminds us of the ancient Protestant culture, which is still part of the psyche of the common man and woman in Britain. We wonder if this attitude of the common people will be one of the things which sees the Tarshish power submitting first to the Lord Jesus Christ when he returns, as prophesied in Isaiah 60 verse 9 and Psalm 72 verse 10. So, as we see these things coming to pass, we must surely be encouraged that Bible prophecy is slowly but surely being fulfilled. We refocus our thinking and are reminded that Gentile rule is temporary. God's purpose is certain, and it is to establish his kingdom. As the ancient king of Babylon had to learn, this matter is by the decree of the watchers and the demand by the word of the holy ones, to the intent that the living may know that the Most High ruleth in the kingdom of men, and giveth it to whomsoever he will, and setteth up over it the basest of men. Daniel 4, verse 17. This has been Matt Davies joining you. Come back again next week for another Bible in the News.